Let's talk about NBA betting picks for Tuesday. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a great start to your day so far. If you tuned into yesterday's video, then you will know we are coming off of a 2-0 day, another winning day. Color me surprised. We got, I'm not gonna lie, we got very lucky with the first pick. We had the Milwaukee Bucks at -5 against the LA Clippers. Giannis Antetokounmpo got ruled out. I don't know if I'm blind and missed him on the injury report in the morning, but I didn't see him. Again, not saying that he wasn't there. I could have made the mistake, but I thought he was playing. And the line moved from Bucks -5 to Clippers -2.5 after he was ruled out. So that was pretty scary. The Bucks were down, although they were at home, they were down by 8 points going into the fourth quarter. And then they win the fourth quarter 40-25. A Bobby Portis 28-16 masterclass, 41 points from Dame Lillard. Patrick Beverley looking like it's the second coming of Ray Allen. Crazy game, crazy win, but we do end up on the right side of that one. Kind of against all odds, but we obviously take it. And then in our second game, we had the Los Angeles Lakers money line against the OKC Thunder. The Lakers had a horrendous start, yet they still dominated that game. The final score is going to make it look closer than it was. The Lakers were holding them at about 20 through the late third to early mid fourth quarter. Then the reserves came in, kind of blew it a little bit. Still to this day questioning why the Lakers drafted Jalen Hood-Schifino over Jaime Jaquez Jr., Brandon Pajemski, and Cam Whitmore. But hey, that's a different topic for another day. 2-0 day yesterday. Like I said, we are making money. It feels like 3 out of 4 days or 4 out of 5 days. We're just making a lot of money. That's the bottom line. I can't say this is going to go on forever. We're going to have some cold streaks eventually. And I tell you what, we do have some tough games today. But with that being said, these tough games mean that it's a big opportunity for the players. And it's not about them. It's not about us. It's about everyone coming together, combining and unifying to achieve a collective goal. And that goal is to win some bets today. So guys, I got 3 picks that I'm about to share with you all. But before I do me a favor, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. As you can see at the bottom there, the record's looking pretty good. The units, the ROI, all things are coming up good right now. And if I'm going to be putting in the hard work to get those picks out there and get them out accurately, then you guys can take the 2 seconds out of your day to hit that subscribe button. Okay, my apartment maintenance people just came by for inspection in the middle of recording. I passed. Don't worry, I'm not getting evicted. Oh, and by the way, I'm sorry about the monitor here. Normally I take it down when I'm recording. It's been a super crazy morning, and honestly, the little 2-3 minutes that I could save, I wanted to save them. So whatever, you guys are just gonna have to deal with it. Okay, let's talk about this first pick. I like the Orlando Magic at -8.5 against the Charlotte Hornets. Now, I did bet on the Hornets, I believe it was 2 days ago, at +7.5 on the road against the Raptors, and they came through for us there. However, I do like the Magic in this one. Now, they're on the road. They're below 500 on the road, I believe, and it's a steep line, but I still have faith in them. Like I said earlier, tough games. The boys are going to have to be at their best, but I do believe in them. The Magic are 5-2 against the spread as a road favorite, so a small sample size, only 7 games, but when they've been in this situation, they've been able to stand up to the test. If you look at the last 15 games, the Hornets are 17th in net rating, which isn't bad considering they've been in the bottom 3 for the majority of the season, but still below average, being outscored by about 2 points per 100 possessions. The Magic are 5th in net rating during that time, outscoring opponents by 8.1 points per 100 possessions. So that is a differential of 10.1 points per 100 possessions. Drink for every time I said per 100 possessions. The Magic are 4th in offensive efficiency and 8th in defensive efficiency during that time. The Hornets, who would have thought this, ahead of the Magic on defense. They're 5th in defensive efficiency, but only 26th on the offense. So that's going to be the thing that lets them down here. I also think that the Magic have just a stylistic advantage in the matchup here. Beyond the numbers, more just a lot of eye test and calculating the way matchups are going to go down. The Magic are just such a tall and long team, and the Hornets aren't. I mean, they've got wings who have good size and length, like Miles Bridges and Brandon Miller, but they're playing Grant Williams as their starting center. And when you've got a Paolo Banchero, when you've got a Franz Wagner, and those aren't even your centers. Those are just guys that are going to be getting downhill. When you've got the Wendell Carters, and if they want to, the Goga Batadzes, or whoever they want to put in up, Mo Wagner, who's a very aggressive, underrated bench player. They're going to have so much size on the interior. They're also a tremendous rebounding team in Charlotte, even though they're better than they were before the trade deadline. That's one area they have not really improved on. I think you see the Magic get a ton of second chance points in this this one. The Hornets also don't necessarily have a bunch of steady ball handlers. Micic is kind of initiating the offense. When you look at a Cole Anthony, a Jalen Suggs, Markelle Fultz is questionable, and he's also a lesser defender, but even still, if he plays, when you look at the pressure that the Magic can apply on the perimeter, that, again, combined with the rebounding, the size, the driving stuff for all the Magic, I think that they just have a clear stylistic advantage in this one. Could it be close? Could this be like a situation where the Magic are up by 7 points and then they're up 9 and then they're up 6 and then 10? It's ping-ponging back and forth. I could see something like that, but I think the Magic can cover the 8.5. So that's we're going to go ahead. We're going to ride it out. Magic minus 8.5 at the Hornets. That's the first pick here. Our second pick is going to be the Boston Celtics at -8 against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, Jaylen Brown and Kristaps Porzingis are both questionable here. It's close. I might still bet this, and you know what? I think I'm just going to count it for the record anyway. I don't know. This is on the fly decision. I'm going to say I'm counting it for the record no matter what. But just personally, I would bet it if one or both of them play. If both of them don't, it would be very 50-50. I would have to see how I'm feeling by tip-off, but there's a chance I do bet it. So it's going to count for the record no matter what. But anyway, Brown and Porzingis, both questionable. If you guys are on the fence about that, wait until tip-off to see what happens there. Cleveland is going to be without Donovan Mitchell, who's going to be out for at least the next 3 games minimum. He got some sort of injection to help with an injury. Here's the thing. Even though Donovan Mitchell is thought of as an offensive player, he has a ton of steals, or he's averaging a ton of steals, and the team is 25th in defensive rating this season when he doesn't play, which is obviously awful considering they have the second best defensive rating in all of basketball. In the minutes without him, so even in the games he plays, just when he's not on the court, and of course the games where he doesn't play, they have an offensive rating of 111. That is just about what the Detroit Pistons have. So you've got a bottom 5 defense and then a bottom 5 offense essentially for a team that's top 3 in the Eastern Conference. The Cavs have also lost 4 of their last 8 games. They have a net rating of -1 during that time. Boston, for what it's worth, over the last 8 games, a net rating of +25. Now, that's a little bit inflated by their 50-point win against the Warriors, but they are literally demolishing everybody. They've won 11 straight games. They're 2-0 against Cleveland, 1 at home, 1 on the road. They won by 7 in one of them, and they won by 9 in the other one. So this is a steeper line, but again, Donovan Mitchell is not going to be playing. Cleveland has been bad down the stretch, and I don't expect this game to be close when it gets to the clutch. But even if it is, we know the Celtics, I mean, think about it. If the game's tied with 5 minutes left, the Cleveland goes 3 possessions without scoring, is it unreasonable for a Tatum 3 or Porzingis 3 and a Drew Holiday layup? No, that's your 8 points right there. So again, this one could be close. Cleveland might make it tough, and you know, when Boston puts the reserves in, could Cleveland all of a sudden go on a run? Yeah, it could happen, but I think Boston is clearly the superior team here. So Celtics -8 against the Cavs. Again, if you want to, feel free to wait until the statuses of Porzingis and Brown are known, but I'm going to take them no matter what. My final play of the 3 plays today is going to be the San Antonio Spurs at +7.5 against the Houston Rockets. This one also does have a caveat. I really need Victor Wembanyama to play in this game. I think he will. He's got some shoulder soreness. I forget who it was. It was the Pacers. I believe it was the Pacers game where he kind of took a bump that he wasn't necessarily ready for, and it kind of hurt his shoulder a little bit. I think he's going to play, but I'm not going to be placing this bet until I know that he is playing. And if he does play, I don't think the line's going to move too much. I think you can still get it for that 7.5 price. So San Antonio is only 6-27 on the road this season. However, this is an in-state game. You know, the Houston's only 3 hours away by car from San Antonio. I don't actually know if they would. I would assume they would fly. I mean, these are professional athletes. I don't think they're taking a bus. But the point being, it's not that far from home. So, you know, is it a road game? Yeah, sure. But I don't think that matters too much necessarily here. Houston has been really good at home. They are 20-10 at home. And they've got a net rating that is, I believe, about over 5 points, +5 points per 100 possessions. That being said, they play at a very slow pace. So that doesn't necessarily mean that they're beating teams by a lot. It's usually less than that 5-point margin. San Antonio's defense has been on the uptick. Now, not necessarily overall. It's slightly better, not a whole lot. But when Victor Wembanyama is on the floor, they allow just 112 12 points per 100 possessions. If you applied that to the season as a whole, that would rank 6th in the league and ahead of the New Orleans Pelicans, who I always talk about have maybe the most versatile defensive lineup aside from Boston. So that's really impressive. The one thing, well, there are many things the Spurs can't do. One of them is dominate the three-point line. They allow opponents to shoot close to 39%, and they only shoot 34.5% from the field themselves, or from three, not from the field, from three. That is the worst in the entire league. That being said, over the last 2 games, shooting 45%, went 29-64. Both of those games wins, and both very impressive wins. One against the Thunder, I believe it was, and the other, yeah, definitely the Thunder, and the other against the Pacers. So 2 good wins. Team is riding some solid momentum here. Although their net rating does fall on the road, again, they've been playing well as of late. And Wembanyama, this kid, since January 1st, so New Year's Day, in just 27 minutes per game, he's averaging 23 points, 10.2 rebounds, 3.9 assists, 3.7 blocks on nearly 38% three-point shooting. This kid is unreal. Over his last 8 games, he's averaging 5.5 blocks. It's not like he has some crazy, it's like 5 blocks, 4, 5, 5, 3, 6. He is consistently being a disruptor on that side of the ball, and his offense is really starting to come along. Again, the rest of the Spurs really aren't that good, but c'est la vie. It is what it is. The Rockets, the reason that I'm fading them in the spot, there's a few reasons. They're built around a high floor, but they have a very low ceiling, so they don't really blow teams out. Now, I know that they are good at home. Like I said, they're 20-10, and they're actually pretty good at home against the spread. I did write this down. Yeah, they're 64% against the spread as a home favorite. 9-5-1 if you want the actual record. Although they are only 5-12 against the spread over the last 5-7 against the spread over the last 12 games. I'm making a mess of this. I'm sorry. Even though Houston is a good team, there are a lot of problems with them. They play at a very slow pace. Again, they don't blow teams out. They are barely better than the Spurs at three-point shooting. They're shooting 34.8%. They're 21st in points in the paint allowed, 21st in clutch defense, which is the game is within 5 points in the final 5 minutes. And just when I think about the situation, again, it goes back to matchups. When you've got someone like Wemby combined with the driving of Trey Jones and Devin Vassell and Jeremy Sohan, who I'm not saying are amazing players, but they can get downhill and they can get to the rim. Well, Houston has so many problems defending the paint as it is because Alperen Şengün, as good of a young player as he is, as much talent as he has, he's not really a rim deterrent. So if San Antonio can get downhill, even if they get shots on the board, if they miss, Wemby's going to be there to clean them up and he's going to be able to put them back. I'm expecting a very strong game from him, and I just think that the Houston matchup doesn't really bode well here. When these teams played twice earlier this season, once in the second game of the year. San Antonio won that game in overtime. Houston did beat the Spurs at home by 11 points. I believe the score was 93-82. It was a nasty defensive game. They held the Spurs to 35% from the field and 12% from three. But they themselves were below 40% from the field and from three as well. So if you can get anything from the Spurs offense, I don't think Houston has the offense to take advantage here, especially with the way that Wemby is anchoring that defense. So Spurs plus 7.5 if Wemby does play. I think that's where we go with the final pick. So guys, just to do a nice little recap here, we are going to start things off by taking the Orlando Magic at -8.5 against the Charlotte Hornets. Then we go to the Boston Celtics -8 against the Cavs, provided that you make the decision if you want to wait for Brown and Porzingis. And then we have the Spurs at plus 7.5 against the Rockets, again, if Wemby does play. Guys, that's going to do it for today's video. So thank you so much for tuning in. Like the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss out when I post. And I will catch you all in the next one. Have a great day.